Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Eric with SweetSpotDFS, and welcome back to the PGA Tour season. It's been a long 6 weeks off. Actually, for me, it was 8 weeks off because I did have dental surgery just prior to the break. And I won't lie, it was a nice break. It was much needed. Helped recharge the batteries, helped me recover from my dental surgery. It also helped me recover from COVID, unfortunately. Ended up getting that right before Christmas, which was awesome. But actually, more importantly, it helped me progress on my database. So I was able to finish a complete table towards my database, and I want to complete 5 of them. I want 5 tables a part of my database. I have 2 completed so far, and I have a third one halfway done. So I'm literally right at the halfway point, which feels really good, honestly. I hope it's all downhill from here. Although I have no idea what the other 2 database, how long it's going to take for the other 2 tables, not databases, the other 2 tables to complete. But once that's all finished, I'm going to attach it to my website and publish my website for you guys to use. So if you recall, a goal of mine at the beginning of the year was to finish this by the end of the season. I think that's obtainable. So I'm super excited. Super excited. I'm also really excited to get into the PGA Tour season and move forward with all of these. With all these videos that I do, that I provide to you guys. And with that being said, my previews going forward, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I want these previews to be really short and to the point. I want them to be more impactful than what they are, because I feel like there's too much analysis that's happening in these videos. I just want to provide you the data points that I find important prior to building DFS lineups. So that's what I want to provide to you guys. And then my strategy videos are just going to be longer. I'm going to be a little bit more analytical in those videos, go over a few more in-depth pieces. And I think for all my long-term viewers and listeners of this podcast, it's not going to change anything for you guys, because you guys all like the long-form conversations. But I want to reach more of an audience. I want to be a little bit more versatile. So again, I want these videos to be short. I want them to be like 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. If I can get to 20 minutes, that'd be awesome, because obviously YouTube has that algorithm of 20 minutes or less, or 20 minutes or longer, something like that. And I want this to be somewhere around there. So I just want this to be to the point and more impactful. So let's go ahead. Let's get in this thing. I want to remind you guys there are timestamps in the description below. You can also find them on YouTube's progress bar by hovering over them. Just makes navigating through this video a little bit easier. And again, it informs you what I'll be covering in depth. I'm going to start with a giveaway. I started doing giveaways at the beginning of this season. This is the subscriber giveaway that's on the screen. I'm not going to start here. I'm actually going to start with a different one. I'm going to give my optimizer away every single week. Once again, I did that prior to doing this giveaway. I'm going to add that one to this one, or to all my giveaways. So in order to get that, all you got to do, comment below, give me your favorite 10K golfer. I have a feeling we're going to need one. We'll go through that in this preview. Give me your favorite 10K golfer. Be subscribed to the channel and email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com. And let me know you would like the optimizer, and I will send it your way. So that's the first giveaway. The second one is on the screen right now. It's what I like to call the subscriber giveaway. In order to get an entry into the giveaway, all you have to do, be subscribed, comment below. So you can actually knock out the 2 giveaways. One is the optimizer, and the other one is this right here, the $10. In order for me to run this giveaway though, I want to reach a goal of 275 subscribers. So you can see the goal on the screen all the way over there to the left. Once we hit that goal, I will run this giveaway during my review video of whatever week that is. And just so you guys are aware, all your entries that you gain throughout the weeks until we hit the goal, they stay in the giveaway. So let me show it to you. They will stay in the giveaway until the giveaway is ran. So as you can see on the screen, I have a bunch of guys here that are in here multiple times. And if I scroll down, you can see I currently have 68 entries. You can see what tournament that it's a part of, which YouTube video it was, whether it's preview, strategy, Prize Picks video even. And then if you share it on Twitter, you'll get another free entry. So you can get up to a total of 4 free entries. So I do a video, I do a preview video, I do a strategy video, Prize Picks video, and then you can share on the socials. And then during my review video, if we reach the goal of 275 subscribers, I'll run this giveaway. And it's super easy. Just hit the yes button here and a name comes up. And that would be the winner. Currently, we haven't reached the goal, so and it's not the review video, so I'm not going to run it now. Yeah, again, easy way to win $10, and you can put this towards whatever, DraftKings, you're betting, anything like that. It's an easy $10, super simple. The other giveaway, Prize Picks giveaway, all you gotta do is sign up using the promo code SweetSpot. I will have a link in the description below. Put $20 in your account, and you'll be automatically entered. I get a daily report that shows me all the people who sign up using my promo code, so I'll just add you right to the giveaway. And for this one, your name will never go away. Even if a winner is picked, your name will still stay there until your name is called. So basically how you can look at this, if you sign up using the promo code SweetSpot, put some money in your account, you're just going to win $20. Eventually, you will win $20, which either makes Prize Picks free for you or discounted. And Prize Picks is going to match your deposit up to $100. So it's just a win-win all the way across. Those are the giveaways this week. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the video now. And we are going to start with our tournament information. Century Tournament of Champions. This tournament was established in 1953. So it's been played quite a bit. This tournament has been played a lot. Or I shouldn't say a lot. Well, yeah, it has been played a lot, but it goes back a long ways. Kapalua, Hawaii is where the tournament is played. It is at the Kapalua Plantation Course, which the architect was Bill Cora and Ben Crenshaw. And believe it or not, they've actually been an architect to a lot of PGA Tour golf courses. So if you want to use them as your architect in your research, I highly recommend it. Most of the time, architects will build golf courses very similar to previous golf courses. Now, they're not going to be exact, and really, it'd be foolish for me to say, they're going to always be one and the same. They're not. There will be some that will be completely different. That's why I'm excited about my database that I'm building, because it's going to show you if it's different or not. I mean, in many ways. I'm not going to give away any of that information, because I just don't want anyone to have that idea. I don't want anyone to have my ideas just yet. Anyways, so yeah, you could use them as your architects. Now, the field size this week is 39 players deep, which is not, there are not a lot of players. There's no cut, so you don't have to worry about that. Average winning score is 21 under. Now, that number actually, it should be probably a little lower. Justin Thomas won this in 2020 at 14 under, and really that's the only score that is higher than 20 under. Because 20 under is basically your build. And you got to remember, golf does things opposite. So the lower you go, the better the score. So when I say higher, Justin Thomas, that 14 under is actually much higher than what I think the average score should really be. I think it's like 23 under, 24 under is the average score without that 14 under in there. So either way, it's a scoring fest. No average cut score. Strength of field's 504. So if you aren't aware already, this tournament hosts every single PGA Tour winner from the previous year. Those are the only people invited to this tournament. So as you can tell, you're going to have a good quality field. Now, last year they couldn't, there was a little COVID suspension in the middle of the season. They actually had to accept players from the top 30 of the FedEx rankings. That's how Harris English got into the event, and that's also how he won the event last year. He's like the second player to ever win that tournament without actually winning the year before. I think he's either the first one or the second one. I can't remember. But yeah, it's always a limited field event. It's always kind of a scoring fest. You guys have to remember, 6 weeks off these PGA Tour pros had. This is also a vacation destination. So, some of these players will just be playing it for fun. Some of these players will really take it serious and well, I shouldn't even say that. I don't think PGA Tour players are just playing tournaments for fun per se. I do think some players will go into it serious in the first couple days, and if they're not in contention, they just kind of take it easy. I think that's probably a better way to say it. But either way, it's going to be a scoring fest. There's going to still be some rust on some of these golfers. It's going to be hard to determine which of those golfers are going to be affected by it. So there's really no guessing. There's also no recent form to look at. So if someone's trying to tell you in the industry that you should be looking at recent form, no one's played for 6 weeks. I mean, there was the PNC Championship, which was like father-son. There's also the QBE Shootout, which was a team event. I wouldn't take that one seriously either. The Hero World Challenge, it was a 20-man field. So, I really, in the last 6 weeks, I wouldn't say anyone really has played. So yeah, I wouldn't take recent form into account. Weather, I have Thursday and Friday's forecast up there. Again, it's a no-cut event, so really that doesn't matter. And if you really want to look at wind, I would just do it for showdown slates and prize picks selections. Always look at your weather the day before. If you can, the morning of, because that will really help you out. And really try to play the correct wave. There aren't going to be any waves here, but there's going to be people in the morning and people mid-morning, afternoon. Just pick the correct, side where the wind might blow. Currently, it's not really showing that it's going to be super windy, so I don't think you really have to worry about that. Other things here, course information, par 73, 7,500 yards, Bermuda all the way through. So obviously look at your Bermuda splits, that kind of stuff. I do have your shot shapes up there. This course doesn't require. The fairways are super wide. The greens are super large as well. I do have certain shot shapes there. Those are just your beneficial shot shapes. So there isn't a real tell one way or another. It looks like fade golfers might have a little bit of an advantage because they have one more shot that matters than those that draw the ball. But yeah, it's shot shape really isn't going to matter here. This really is luck. I mean, every week is kind of it's luck, but this one, again, we don't know who's rusty, who's going to come in here firing in all cylinders. It's still going to be fun, and I think there are other data points to look at, so don't be discouraged by me saying that. Let's go ahead. Let's move forward. Usually I would look at past results and grass stats. I'm not going to do that. We can do that tomorrow during the strategy video. Like I said, the average winning score is 21 under. Let's look at past optimal lineups, because obviously this is a DFS preview. So let's look at what matters on DraftKings, like what has mattered in the past. I'm going to go back to 2017. No, 2018. So 2018, you can see all the salaries here on the left side. I don't have any strokes gained data for this year, but you can see who was a part of the optimal lineup. And really, to me, all you got to focus on this is price point. So your winner, Dustin Johnson, was $10,000. So like I said, in the comments below, give me your favorite 10K golfer this year or this week, because I think it's going to matter. And I think you'll see that as we go through the years. So this is 2018. DJ won, 10,000. Rahm in second, 95. Brian Harman, 8,700. Obviously, he was a favorite. 8,700 it's a kind of a high price tag. You had Ricky Fowler there, Hideki Matsuyama, but we go to Pat Perez, who was in the optimal lineup. Johnny Vegas in the optimal, and Siwoo Kim. Let me actually say this. I don't have the DK points to show you that this was the optimal lineup. In all reality, I don't have the DraftKings points at all. So this is more of a realistic optimal. Everybody's inside the top 10, and it all fits under $50,000. This is $49,600. You're gonna see as we go through this, as I actually have DraftKings points for, some of the optimal lineup golfers finish 20th place, 16th place. You're gonna see that, so we can't really try to do the top 10 thing this week. It's a really limited field event, so just throwing that out there. But this is 2018. 10K golfer, there was one, and a bunch of 6K golfers. 2019, my optimal that I have. No DraftKings points here, unfortunately. But you had Xander at 83, Woodland at 8,000, and then JT at 10.5. Then you dropped to 7.7, 8.7, and 6.2. In 2020, now I have DraftKings points. This is we're going to really show you the optimal lineup in full truth. It actually matched the $8 GPP lineup, but you had a 11K Justin Thomas, a 9K Patrick Reed, 9.8 Patrick Cantlay, then 6.5, 7.1, 6.4. 3 golfers outside of the top 10. 13th place, 17th place, 19th place. Golfers you probably wouldn't even think to roster. So that's kind of, to me, the mindset we got to have. So you pick your favorite 10K golfer and then just go down. And then 2021, again, we have a 10K golfer in there, Justin Thomas. Again, this is actual optimal lineup because we have DraftKings points this time. But you have 8.7, 8.3, 10.7, 7, 8.2, and then a high 6K golfer. So you still had a 6K golfer, but it wasn't as low as like, you know, Patton Kazire at 6,200, or who did we just see? Lonto Griffin, 6,500, and Tyler Duncan, 6,400. So those were your last 4 years of DraftKings salaries. Each one of them had a 10K golfer. So with that being said, again, who's your favorite 10K golfer below? And I think we're going to need a 10K golfer. So from here, so what I've already given you, we're going to actually close this video out pretty shortly. We're going to go into the bucket system, which I guess can be a little bit time consuming. But, you know, price points. The last 4 events, the last 4 years this tournament's been played, there was a 10K golfer in the optimal lineup, at least inside the top 3. So we're going to need a 10K golfer. And then you're going to have a 6K golfer. It's just going to be a normal lineup build, I think. So far it's shown that way. Obviously that can change. So if you're creating 10 lineups, 8 of them have a 10K golfer and a 6K golfer, and the other 2 have a balanced build, just to be a little contrarian. I think that's fine. We talked about Bermuda course. It's a Bermuda golf course. Look at Bermuda stats. Bill Core and Ben Crenshaw architect. Look at that data. That's gonna be important. And then maybe look at tournaments where the winning score was 20 under or better. So those are the data points I would look at. Now I'm going to get into the bucket system. And let me actually explain something here. I already have this filtered out, but what you're going to see is a bunch of, it kind of looks a little messy. I should have included the grid lines, but you're going to see, like last week, I have no projections. There's no data whatsoever, because guess what? There never is a tournament that was a lead in to this tournament. So there's always been a Christmas break, basically. So there's no tournament before. So we have no last week stats. That's obviously one of the stat categories within these buckets. So there's no last week, but also usually we have nearly a week off. So there's no recent form to even look at. No like legitimate recent form. You know, full field contests, not the Hero World Challenge, not the PNC Championship. Shouldn't even be discussed when looking at PGA tournaments, but even the QBE shootout, like that's not something I think is important either. So no recent form. So what I'm going to do is actually just filter those out. So we're not looking at either of those buckets. We're left with last year buckets, course history buckets, your salary buckets, which we just already talked about, so we don't necessarily need to talk about it again, and then strokes gained buckets. And the one thing to make note here is I'm including strength of field. So every golfer that falls under these buckets, I've recorded their strength of field. So that kind of incorporates into the projections that I have. And what I'm going to do right now, you can see this on the screen right now. I know, again, it's probably hard to see, but you can see what I have projected out. Your minimum projection, your maximum projected from the cells I just highlighted. You can see a lot of them are really close to 0. I'm going to filter those out. So I don't want to, blindside you guys like you have no idea what I'm going to do. What I'm going to look at is greater than 0.9. So I'm really now, these are our anchor buckets, essentially. I usually cover this in the strategy video, but I think we can just do it here really quickly. My more often than, I mean, you have your first to 20th place, you have your 20 to 40th place, and then you have your did not plays. With 39 people in the field, obviously these are your buckets. You're not going to see any of the other buckets. But one thing to make note, most of your strength of field comes in the did not plays. Now, when we look at frequency rates, being a top 10 finisher last year in this event is really important. I mean, there are a lot of golfers who finished top 10 who finished, or top 10 in the tournament who finished top 20 the year before. And that kind of, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. Again, this is the Tournament of Champions, so it's all champions from the past year. You're going to have a lot of good golfers in here. You're going to have a lot of elite golfers. So always keep that in mind. But that's where I would start. I would start with golfers who top 20 last year. And then I would go to did not plays and maybe find your 6K golfers from here. Maybe maybe not. Maybe find, I mean, Lanto was a top 10 or top 20 golfer in one of the years that he top 10. So, you know, it doesn't really matter if it's a 6K or not. I would lean 6K in a did not play the year before. But that's how I have my projections matched out too. And you can see your success rates super high, obviously. That doesn't make sense. No reason to look at it because they only fall under these three buckets. But here's what I will say. On average, you usually have 7 golfers who top 20 the year before in an event, in this event. We have 10 this year. So, you know, you select out of those 10 golfers who top 20 the year before, or top 20 the year last year, pick 2 of them. It looks like, I mean, I'm projecting somewhere between 1 to 2. I always add 1 additional, so it's 1 to 3. And in the optimal lineup, you've always seen at least 1 golfer from this bucket. So those that top 20 last year, you always see 1 in the optimal lineup. You also always see 1 who did not play the year before. So keep that in mind. Looking at course history, so that's the other good thing to talk about when we're talking about last year stats. So what about those that have no course history? Well, we've seen at least 1 inside the top 10 every single year, so that helps. But we have seen 0 in the optimal lineup. And of the 4 years that we could actually look at optimal lineups, there was 1 year where there wasn't. Otherwise, the other 3 years, we did have 1 golfer from this bucket. Again, those that have no course history. So you have a 75% frequency rate of hitting the optimal lineup by not playing this tournament ever. So don't be afraid to use golfers from that bucket. Now, the more important bucket are golfers who have a course history of 20 or better. So that's an average finishing position, 20 or better. We see 3 on average, not on average, a minimum of 3 inside the optimal lineup. Can't say average again. A minimum of 6 inside the top 20 every single year. So, and I think that makes sense, right? More often than not, the golfers in this tournament are your John Rahms, your Dustin Johnsons, your Justin Thomases. Those are golfers who just do well week in and week out. They're your elite golfers, and they play this event. They're going to be the ones that are finishing inside the optimal lineup, inside the top 10. So yeah, you definitely want to anchor around one of those perennial golfers, one of those elite golfers that have really good course history at this event. We did talk about salaries, but here's a little bit of a different shakedown, a little breakdown. We've had 0 show up inside the optimal line. Is that true? Did I miss that as I was going through? 2018, there's one in 2019, 2020. Okay, so what are we looking at? BG58. I gotta look at my buckets. That doesn't make any sense. BG58. Oh no. Darn it. Here, I know how to fix this real quick. The one table I did not update. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that updated nicely. We've seen at least one and a max of one. So you just want one 10K golfer. You don't want superstars and scrubs. Although we do see at least two that finish inside the top 10 that are in the 10K range. You just want to select one 10K golfer. And it looks like we don't have... I'm going to open this up. I wonder if we have the 6K buckets. No. I thought maybe we'd see a minimum of one. I felt like we saw one every single time we went through. There's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. What the hell? Oh, I have 6K broken down into two different buckets. One's the high 6K, one's the low 6K. Sorry guys, it's been a while since I've done this. There's two high 6Ks. Okay, there's no high 6K here, but there's a low. And then in 2021, there's a high 6K and not a low. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so that's why we don't see 100% frequency for those buckets inside the top 10. Makes sense, or in the optimal lineup. And then the last one, your strokes gained buckets. To me, it makes no sense to talk about running stats. There's no recent form for this event. So looking at stats heading into this tournament, not really important. And I already heard one podcast this week talk about how winners have done here. Now, if you're not talking about their lead-in stats, there's nothing to talk about. Like if you're talking about their at that time, like their stats as they won the tournament, they're going to be super inflated. Like there's no reason to look at it. So like here's an example. Let's say Justin Thomas, he did this at the WGC Mexico. He holes one for eagle. Let's say he throughout a tournament he holes 4 approach shots of 100 yards or greater for eagle. His approach stats are going to be like 13 shots gained, or maybe not even that much, maybe 10 shots gained on the field. If you use that as analysis, you know, like to predict, you know, which golfers will do well here, like, well, Justin Thomas gained 10 strokes approach, and on average, golfers who win this event gain 6 strokes on average. You're not taking into account all those eagles that are luck based. Like any hole out from 100 yards or greater is always going to have some. I mean, a lot of it's going to be luck. Yeah, you could park it within a foot. You could park it within 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, whatever. But if you follow Lou Stegner, Tiger Woods had a 29% clip of hitting it inside of 10 feet from 100 yards out. I think it was something like that. So 70% of the time he didn't. Take that into account when looking at strokes gained approach. Justin Thomas hitting it 4 times, and I'm not using an example that he actually did, but still, you can't look at it that way. The winners are winners for a reason. Like they either got lucky, they took advantage of situations, they played really well. You know, those 3 things probably are a mix. Looking at stats of a golfer who won a tournament, looking at what his stats were after he won it, totally I'll be nice. I was gonna say idiotic, but like it's just the wrong way to look at stats. So either way, strokes gained stats, I like to look at it from the buckets because it'll show you, you know, hey, this has happened X amount of times. So like strokes gained 1, those are all stats positive. We have 7 golfers in the field this week. We've seen 100% frequency rate finishing inside the top 10. We've seen at least 3 golfers in the optimal lineup every single year from this bucket. So you have 7 golfers. On average, we have 5. Optimal lineups, the minimum is 3. Like, I don't see how you don't just select 3 golfers from this bucket. And you know what? Let me just show you what that is right away. Why not? Here are your 7 golfers. Seamus Power, 6,600. He might be your guy that you for 6K. Otherwise, it's going to be a mix of 3 of these golfers. That's how I feel about how this is going to happen. And you have a lot of value right in here. Unfortunately, I don't have what those buckets are with their salary price tags. I'm sure I could because I have all the data. I don't think it really matters. But mixing it up that way, I think is a really good way, a good way to do it. Let me just double check that those are correct numbers as well. Yeah, they have their own. Okay, yeah. I mean, you can see what the breakdown is right here. This is what fuels the summary page that I have. Either way, your strokes gained ones, all stats positive. This is the entire last year. So if you date back to the tournament champions from last year, that's how I look at all my data, is one full calendar year. That's what these numbers are pulling. So, yeah, we want to start building lineups there. You also want a 10K golfer. So obviously we just saw the only 10K golfer and above is Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm might be the guy that you want to anchor your lineups around. Maybe not. Maybe you want a mix of, the rest of these guys. Either way, that's going to cover it for my preview. We just ran over 30 minutes, which is a bummer. I was at 27 before I kind of went on that rant, but I'm going to leave it here. So join me tomorrow in the strategy video where we'll talk a little bit more, go over a few more things. I'm okay with this preview. I mean, I'll listen to it again and maybe make my judgments there, but data points. I just want to cover all the data points before you build your lineups. So it'll help you at least at a starting point. And tomorrow we can fine tune it. So join me tomorrow. Again, giveaways. All you gotta do is participate. Subscribe, comment below, email me if you want the optimizer. Share on Twitter. Those are your avenues to get entries into the giveaways, and then just get the optimizer. So with that being said, I'm gonna bid adieu. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the strategy video. It's gonna be later today because I'm gonna post this Tuesday. So I'll see you soon. All right, bye.